Oh, a pirate ship for me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 4 of the Teacup for One Pirate Movie Marathon. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees. And today, we're talking about the 4th film in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. And this is the one that has a mermaid, which might be its only redeeming quality, but we'll discuss that. Yeah, so this is definitely a movie that exists, that's been made. And we're here to talk about it today, and that's gonna be fun. Let's see who we have joining us today in the chat. We've got Eliza the cat. Hello, Eliza. Oh, as well as Sabrina, the other cat. Hello, Sabrina. Oh, but I only have one person showing as watching, so I think one of my cats abandoned me, but that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. Here we go. So, for anyone who is just joining us today, we are nearing the end of our epic Disney Pirates movie marathon. We've been watching our way over the weeks through all of the films in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and they keep getting less good. Yeah. So today we're going to discuss that. It's going to be fun. Here we go. Oh, we got another friend here. It's Martha. Hello, hello. There we are. So I'm so excited for our guests for this evening. You know them. You love them. Returning to the channel, we have Jeanette Tinker J. Look, it's Jeanette.
Hey, yo ho.
Yo ho, indeed. Well, welcome. I feel like it's been so long since I've seen you, except it's been what, like 2 weeks? 1 week?
It's just been 1 week. But yes, I never like missing a movie club. So yeah, it does feel like forever.
Welcome back. How was Disney?
It was fabulous. It was a nice whirlwind. We arrived very early Sunday morning and left very late Tuesday night. So we made the most of 3 days.
It was only 3 days? Oh my gosh.
It was only 3 days, only 2 nights, but it was a big celebration, and we got to be kids again, just us two.
Oh, that's so much fun. Did you end up going on Pirates or no?
We didn't, because it's something that we typically can do with Nola. So we did.
That's
we
nice.
actually didn't even go to Magic Kingdom.
Oh.
We just did Epcot and MGM. The adult part.
So happy you still call it MGM, because so do I.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Fantastic. Yes. Yeah, no, those are my, well, actually, no, MGM's not my relaxing park. Epcot is like my relaxing, be an adult, walk around and socialize. Well, I don't socialize, I go by myself. But still walk around and drink and eat on my own time. It's fantastic.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Yes. So welcome. So I guess question for today, favorite mermaid?
Favorite mermaid in general?
Yeah, just in general, because this is a mermaid movie.
Oh, well, it's definitely not Ariel. I think she's a brat.
Yeah, she is.
I would say, what is my favorite mermaid? Oh my God, I don't even know.
You can't see the reaction of our other guest in the waiting room, but I could, and she was shaking. It was hilarious.
I don't even know. I don't know very many other mermaids, I suppose.
So I guess it is Ariel.
Well, if that's the choice, then it's Serena in this movie.
This one, okay. I'll take it. Valid answer. All right, I'm going to bring in our next guest for this evening. Returning, it's Lisa, everyone. Lisa's back. Woo!
Hello, everyone.
We missed you. I'm so happy to have you back.
Thank you so much.
It also feels like forever with you, except it actually has been.
Forever. Yeah, it's been almost 4 or 5 weeks. I have no idea.
Right?
It's been a whole pirate marathon, basically. I know. So I'm so happy to have you back. So Lisa, tell us about you. For those who might not know, you know the drill by now. Introductions. I'm going to sip my water.
Of course, yes. So I'm a theater producer in Toronto, Canada. I just closed a show, our first in-person show at Cahoots Theater.
Congratulations. I feel so bad I didn't get to see it.
No worries. It was a short run, and the last part of it was all sold out. So
that's amazing.
That's my favorite thing about being a producer. Hi, Vince. But yeah, it's that's been my life for the last month. I am taking a break for 2 weeks from producing theater.
Nice.
So if folks want to follow me and my shenanigans with my hamsters, they can at Lisa_A_Alves on Instagram. And yeah, that's me.
They should follow your hamster adventures, because they're pretty awesome.
Yes.
Eleanor Waffles is a character, and Theodora Umbrella is a sleepy retired ham. So yes, feel free to follow folks too.
So adorable. I love when animals have their own Instagrams. It's so good. Yeah, one of my cats, her Instagram got banned because she was too young to have her own Instagram account, and then they cracked down.
You gotta lie about their ages. You gotta lie about their ages.
Oh, I know. Well, it didn't translate to cat years into human years. I don't know what to say. Lisa, who's your favorite mermaid?
So I'm appalled that you don't like Ariel, Jeanette.
She's
But
such a brat. She's so ungrateful.
she is a brat, but I feel like she grows throughout the Little Mermaid movie. But I will say she is not my favorite. I like her daughter. I think it was like Melody.
Melody, yeah.
Melody is a good mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I don't know. I feel
You
like
know what? I will say my favorite mermaid is Urchin from the Little Mermaid TV series. Her little boyfriend, Urchin. He was
She has
my
a
favorite
boyfriend
growing up.
mermaid? I
Yeah,
don't remember him at
Urchin.
all.
He was awesome.
Oh, I just remember the creepy Tim Curry shadow creature from that show.
well, if we're gonna go
Oh, yeah.
if we're gonna go off of like not like because mermaids in my head, I think like female mermaids. I guess you could also-
Merman.
Merman.
Merfolk.
merfolk. You know what? I'm
There you
gonna go
go.
with King Triton. He was
Yes.
so tough. And he was
Oh, there you go.
yeah, and I think his character arc is
Oh,
much
like
more-
it's his movie. It's
He's
totally his
Zaddy,
movie.
Zaddy Mermaid.
he's
Yeah.
Zaddy Mermaid.
Oh, yeah,
Beard,
right.
the Triton, the crown. Yes, excellent.
Yeah, I mean, anger management issues. Let's be honest.
He grows. He grows.
That's true. That's true. He grows.
I don't know. If
Single
my kid
dad.
acted like Ariel, I'd lose my ish too.
He always scared me so much more than Ursula in that movie. Like when he destroys the grotto, I had to turn off the TV every time and count because it was VHS. So I just knew it kept playing and then turn it back on like 45 seconds later because I couldn't handle it. Like Ursula, see which I could do
Traumatized by
that.
parents yelling.
Yeah, and like he destroys things. It was terrifying. Didn't like it. All right. We've got one more guest for this evening. Joining us, our resident Pirates of the Caribbean expert. It's Libby from Punsy's Palace.
Yay!
Hello, Libby. Welcome back. Happy to have you. So, yeah, same thing. Tell us a little bit about you and big question of the day, favorite mermaid. I think I see her.
Well, so I'm Libby from Punsy's Palace. I do all kinds of things Disney, and I love analyzing movies as well as defending my girl Ariel. Apparently, I didn't know I was entering an Ariel slander live stream, but it's fine.
Lisa tried. It's just nobody's going to change my opinion after 3 decades.
I have an entire video in defense of Ariel. Like, you can't do that to me. You can't do that.
So Ariel's your favorite, right? I think we
Yes.
just all have to go watch the video. A
Yeah.
while ago, before
Yep.
even like years before I had a channel, my friend and I spent 2 or 3 hours just at a cafe ranking all of the Disney princesses from worst to best. And I don't even know why we did that. We just did, and then published it on Facebook. And like it stirred up a lot of heat because Ariel was at the bottom of like all 30, not just the franchise princesses, but like every princess in the Disney verse, like the ones who
Oh
aren't
my
part of the
gosh.
marketing. Yeah, and she was at the bottom of the list. But I'm willing to have my mind changed. And Tiana was first because obviously.
She is my favorite princess.
Oh yeah, like she's up there for me. Tiana and Belle is probably up there.
Really?
It
The
dep-
one who suffers from Stockholm syndrome is better than Ariel?
She doesn't have Stockholm syndrome.
It's another video I have.
we should do a whole episode defending Disney princesses. That would be so
That
much
would be
fun.
that, and around the horn would be great. That'd be
Yes.
so super.
Is that a sports metaphor? I don't know what around the horn is.
Yeah, just everybody talks and then we all cross talk and defend and
Oh, I love that. Let's do that. Well, that's for the future. So, speaking of mermaids, let's talk about this movie, Pirates 4. Oof. Yeah, it's a thing that happened. I don't hate it. I don't know. I guess we should probably start the way we always do. If you remember the first time you saw it, recount that for us, but then follow it up and tell us how it held up for you. And I'll go first because it's exactly the same. I had the same viewing experience. I saw it once, this time on DVD when it came out, because by that point, I lost faith in the Pirates franchise, even though At World's End pleasantly surprised me. And I do actually like At World's End. So I've been converted. I do very much like At World's End. So I was hoping that this would be another case of me being turned around on the movie, but I had the same viewing experience where I was watching it thinking, I love all the elements of this film. I love that there's Blackbeard. I love that there's mermaids. I love that it's pirates. Why am I so bored and why isn't it holding my attention? So that's what I remember happened the first time because I had it on DVD. I kept pausing it and restarting it. And that's what happened like the last 3 days. I kept watching a little bit on Disney Plus, getting distracted, going back, and then it's whatever. It's a movie. I do like Rob Marshall usually, and I was excited that he was doing this movie back when it came out because I was always thrilled to have a Rob Marshall film. And like Robbie is still one of my favorite first name basis. Robbie is still one of my favorite directors, but like I can acknowledge his work is very hit and miss, and more often than not, it's miss. But when it hits so well. And there were like one or two moments in this that I thought were to his standard. Yeah. Jeanette.
So I do remember seeing this. I went and saw it in theaters, as I have all except next week's Pirates. I distinctly remember going to the theater thinking this could potentially be bad. They're going to be predictable. How are we going to do mermaids? And I was pleasantly surprised. I did find some plot points predictable, and going into it sorry, what was that? Going into it this time, knowing that, I didn't get hung up on, okay, well, that was predictable. I was just like, I know what's going to happen, so it's okay if it's predictable. I liked what they did with mermaids. I felt like we could have focused more on like all mermaids.
Oh, I wanted more mermaids.
Yeah, like I kind of wanted that to be more of a thing. And then I had the same hang up this time as I did in the original movie, on the original viewing rather. And it all ties back to Clergy Dude. And we'll get into that later.
Yes,
but
we will.
Other than that, I genuinely have a really good opinion of this movie, and I enjoy it every time I see it.
Well done. Let's go to Libby, because I feel like this was Lisa's first time watching it. So I'm curious to hear the first timer thoughts. But let's go to Libby, because I know you've seen it before.
Yeah, so this is the one Pirates movie out of all of them that I didn't see in theaters. I think it was just like the timing of when it came out. I didn't know that a new one was coming out, and I just kind of missed it. And then my dad had it downloaded and gave it to me and said, "Here you go." And I said, "Okay." So I rewatched it quite a few times, like on my own. I don't really remember the first time watching it. I just remember that it was, okay, that was like a fun Pirates movie. I didn't think much of it. I will say, rewatching it this most recent time, I had a lot better reaction. Like I was like, yeah, okay, this isn't like one of the great ones or anything. And I rewatched it and I was like, actually, I don't mind it. It's actually pretty good. And especially with one of my little theories and everything, it fits it really well. And I think it showcases that idea that I have very, very well. So that's why I really liked it.
Nice. Like I feel like I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. Lisa, what was it like as a first time viewer? And have you seen the other three, or is this the only Pirates movie you've ever seen?
So I'm in an interesting position because I've never seen any Pirates movie, and this is my first one.
Oh,
so no. I feel like I'll only go better from here.
Did it make sense?
Yeah, so I watched it with my partner, who like explained to me all the characters and like touched on the other movies, and I was like, okay, cool, I think I'm set up. I didn't hate it. I just felt like it was too long. Like it was a half an hour too long.
Ironically, it's the shortest pirate movie.
Wait, so Lisa, you've never seen the first one?
No, I haven't.
Wowza.
Yes. So this is why I'm like really interested in seeing the first one, to see parallels. It's the fourth one. Sometimes there's like, copy and paste storylines when it comes to like these long franchises. But like, I didn't hate it. I liked it. I really liked a lot of elements, but I will say I did not like the mermaids. And that's shocking to me because I love mermaids. But I think it was because of the writing and not the mermaids themselves.
Yeah. No, I think the depiction of the mermaids was top notch, but there wasn't enough of it. And then they leave us with like the most boring mermaid. And it might be a hot take, but
the mermaid that has feelings.
Was the movie supposed to be like? Was it advertised to be all about mermaids? Because
they were like, "There's mermaids in this pirate movie."
Okay,
it's so cool. Look what the mermaids can do. Yeah.
I missed all of that, so I was just like, "Yeah, it's it's the Pirates movie, and I know I can differentiate it because it's the one that does have mermaids."
I remember going into the theater being like, "Oh yeah, there's mermaids. There's no mermaids on the ride. They can run free with this because there's no existing storyline."
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't.
Wait, doesn't the ride have a mermaid skeleton?
Maybe the Disneyland one. I don't think the Disney World one does.
I feel like at some point I saw a mermaid skeleton. Might be a Disneyland thing, or maybe I made it up.
There is a mermaid skeleton in this movie.
There is, and when I saw that in the movie, I was like, "This is a nice subtle connection to the ride." I feel like there's I need to look it up.
There's
I'll look it up
definitely
later.
skeletons. There's plenty of skeletons.
Mandy's here. Hi, Mandy.
Hey, Martha did say, I think we can
yes.
all agree,
Daryl
Best
Hannah.
Mermaid, Daryl Hannah and Splash.
Splash.
So
I liked how this
probably
movie
right.
this movie seemed to exist in the Splashverse because of the same rules where when she's not wet, she gets human legs.
I know. I do love that they play with a few different mermaid lores from around the world.
Is that a mermaid lore thing, like outside of Hollywood? That if
in certain countries, yeah, like
Ooh.
everybody's mermaid lores are different.
I like that.
Yeah, and that's why I loved like the mermaid tears. That's a thing in some cultures, and then like the harpy type situation with the scariness, like that.
Yeah.
That's a thing in some cultures.
I need to do.
So they just
video
kind of
about this.
combined them. Yeah.
I need to research this and do a video. That's how my videos usually go. I want to learn about things and I share them pretentiously with people as though I made up all the information. So I'm going to learn about mermaids now. I love it. So I guess we're already kind of talking about it. How do we feel about the mermaids in this movie? Specifically, the one that they chose to center the entire thing around. I mean, I think I watched some behind the scenes things and it looks like until the very last minute, there were plans for them to look a lot different, for them to look more like Harry Potter 4 mermaids.
Mhm.
That's one with the mermaids, right? Yeah. The looking more like monsterish and more skeletal and like not human-like. And even when you watch the stuff with them on set, like the main mermaid, Serena, is that her name? Serena? Yeah. She like has all the CGI dots on her face, even though she looks exactly minus the dots like she does in the film. So I think they made a really interesting choice, or Rob Marshall did, to at the 11th hour say, no, make them look more like humans. And how do we feel about that? Because it was I feel like they didn't reinvent the wheel or reinvent the mermaid really aesthetically with this. I feel like they just took the classic, Disney mermaid basically, because I think Ariel and Little Mermaid have cemented what Western culture thinks mermaids look like. I think they took that and just made it look realistic. For the most part, I liked it, but how do we feel about their look? Do we think it worked? Would we have rather have seen Serena look more like a sea monster? Because that was apparently in the works.
I feel like in the ads, and I don't know how far they got before. You know, sometimes in ads they show stuff that ends up not being in the movie. Mm-hmm. And again, this could be made up memories in my mind, but I feel like in the ads that were on TV, they did show that. They showed the monstrous mermaid, and I got excited about that because I was like, oh, this is cool. I've never seen this take on it. And then, yeah, in the movie theater, I remember being like, okay, they got gnashy teeth, but where's like the crazy like fish face and stuff? Like I kind of wanted more of that. And I don't know why you couldn't have done that and then had them whenever they come out of water do what she did, like turn into
look human like. Yeah,
like if they take their head out of the water, they're like that. Now they did show them underneath the water, and they kind of like vaguely did that during the like attack scenes. Mm-hmm. But not, you're right, they didn't take it there. They could have gone all the way with that. And at very least given her some more inhuman elements. Like her hair was very human. Like they could have put points on her ears or something. I don't know, like something movie makeup-ish. And there could have just been more. I mean, we kind of already said this, but I'm like, there could have just been more mermaid storyline. Honestly, I didn't need the Jack love story. That's the only part of this whole movie I ain't buying, because I'm like, it's Jack Sparrow. He's a pirate. Who the heck is this chick? We've never heard of her before in any of the other movies. Why is there? And you know me, I hate a love story. I'm like, that's my get rid of the romance, get it out of here. It doesn't serve a purpose. I don't need it. And really, in the end, it doesn't change anything about how he acts, because he tends to save people anyway, because he actually does have a conscience. He doesn't have to be in love with that person. So I feel like he would have saved her compared to Blackbeard anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, we could have used more. That could have taken up more time. And I'll come back to when we talk about things we don't like. I'll talk about Clergy Guy.
Oh, Clergy Guy. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, Lisa, Libby, how do we feel about mermaids in this movie?
I wanted like remember in Peter Pan's
Yeah.
2003 version, those mermaids.
Yeah.
It's really from those mermaids.
I thought we were getting those mermaids too from my vague recollection of this movie.
And I love that idea, Jeanette, of like having the mermaids look like that in the water, and then when they're out of water, it like vanishes and they look like humans. That's great. That's cool. But yeah, I just wanted some like visual effects on them. A little bit, just a little bit, to show that they're mythical creatures, because we didn't get that. We just got with Serena a pretty woman, and that's it. But I think the thing that makes me not like the mermaids more than just like them looking not like mermaids is the storyline. Like it just focuses on her with the clergy guy and like he's the clergy guy that you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like I get the whole concept of like this whole lore of mermaids or sirens and they lure men. Cool, we get that. I just wanted a little bit more substance, I guess, from like other female characters, especially since we didn't really get all of that with Penelope Cruz's either, which I totally agree with you, Jeanette, on. But yeah, I feel left out or let down with the whole mermaids. So
it's like the mermaid attack scene was so good, and it opened up a door to something that exists in this pirate universe that I want to see more of. Is that just a blip on the radar? Like, I don't know what they could have done more to not make it.
Well, then the only other attack scene we get, mermaid attack scene, is like way off in the distance on the big ship. I'm like, could have gotten another one of those, but no.
Yeah,
no, give me a mermaid movie. Although Rob is doing a live action Little Mermaid movie, so in like 2 years, maybe the vision will be realized.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
I feel like they couldn't, for the storytelling they wanted to do in the movie, I don't think they could have done special effects mermaid as well, because it's supposed to be like their main purpose in the film. And this is me not getting any of the advertising about mermaids, and so I wasn't hyped up about that aspect. But it's like the main purpose of them in the film is that they lure men to their deaths, and so they have to be very appealing and everything. So I feel like if they focus too much on making them visual effects looking really cool, it wouldn't make a man want to just hop out of his boat and kiss her. So I feel like that's probably why they scaled back, and they were like, let's just make them pretty looking. And I mean, I don't mind it, because it's just basically like, it's from Disney. They're like, what do people know mermaids look like? That. So we'll just do that. And that's what they did. And they just made it like a little bit more realistic. Like her fin looks realistic. It doesn't look very Disneyfied. It looks like what I think a fishtail would look like if it was on a human. They didn't make her hair look perfect. It was, wet. So I liked that as well. Unrealistic hair expectations. So I enjoyed that. But like, I wish instead, whenever they do go into their like scary face, when she like does hiss at them, that they could have made that more dramatic, and like that's where the special effects could have come in. Yeah. And that I think would have been really cool to see, is like, oh, she's super pretty and like singing to him, and then when she lures him in, then it could have been like a drastic change. And that's
instead it was just some pointy teeth.
Just the pointy teeth.
Tiny pointy teeth. Not even like big pointy teeth, like an angler fish. It was just like pointy teeth.
Oh, I hate anglerfish.
I will say that I totally agree with you, because you have to like play into that trope of having the men fall in love with this like very attractive woman. But it would have been really neat for them to write it, and this is like them spending more time developing the mermaid story, is like them using their magic to like mystify them and be like, don't pay attention to my like gross physique, like pay attention to like this
like a harpy or like a succubus or something. Like these mythical creatures that very much are not human looking, but are able to seduce regardless of that situation.
100%. And I think it's just more of like the lack of like writing the mermaids to be good characters, and not so much about their looks and like that director's choice, but like the writers making those decisions prior to say, no, like this is the character of the mermaids, and this is their rules.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just felt let down.
Oh yeah, no, I felt so left out of the mermaid rules. Like I didn't understand the whole relevance of the kiss thing. Again, Wikipedia had to explain that to me. About how at the end she's like, I can save you. And just knowing other mermaid movies, I was like, okay, I get that you're like somehow going to probably turn him into a mermaid. I don't get
Yes.
how.
They
And
don't
then-
explain that. They just show them swim off.
Yeah, no, well,
And I'm
apparently
like,
there's,
is he
there's the line
okay?
that says if you have a kiss from a mermaid, you can breathe underwater. And that's like, it just said so
That's it.
quickly in passing that you're
don't say
supposed
that
to.
in
Sorry?
They don't say that in the movie. I was so
They say it really
No.
quickly when they're on the boat, like when
Oh,
they're
do
calling the
they?
mermaids.
Jesus.
Yeah, but they don't even say it in a way where it doesn't land as one of those moments where as an audience member you think, oh, I should remember this. It just lands as like he's just talking about
Yeah.
mermaids.
If you want the audience to remember anything in a Pirates movie, you have to do a close-up of Gibbs' face and make Gibbs say it, because I
Yes.
remember everything that man tells us. I'm like, that's gonna matter.
Mhm.
That's gonna. We better
Yeah.
listen to Gibbs because he knows. Like, you got to have him do it.
You do. And I think that just plays it like hand in hand with my issue with how the mermaids are written, especially with her and clergy guy. Like, let's just talk about that because I don't like them. I don't know if I don't like I don't know if I dislike the actors because I think they're okay actors, but everything that I've said in defense of Kira and Orlando in the last 3 movies just feels like reinforced having seen this because like my whole stance on Kira and Orlando has been that they play the ingenue roles really well. And now I feel like I'm seeing those roles played very stereotypically and written very stereotypically, where there's not much substance aside from these 2 people are pretty and now they're going to fall in love. And
He's not even that pretty.
right. So there it is. And like we kind of mentioned last week about how Disney, especially around the time that this movie came out, was starting to fall into this pattern of, or not around this time, the time the 5th movie came out, fall into a pattern of, instead of developing female characters, saying that they're scientists, therefore they're smart and developed, is like, that's a band-aid that doesn't work. I feel like they did that with Philip's character and the clergy, saying he's religious, therefore he has a character. And I'm like, you didn't explore
Okay.
that.
Can I dig into that
whatsoever.
for a second?
Yeah.
First of all, I cannot abide a movie where they're like, well, he's Christian, so he's the good guy. I'm like, have we learned nothing? The Crusades were happening. Like, that's an unjust thing to say. That's not true, first of all. Somehow he's awesome. Like, and he's better than. Second of all, the single most confusing and poorly written or just thrown out with the bathwater scene. I don't know what happened when the freaking quartermaster literally slits his throat. But then later on in the movie, he's just got a dart in him and he wakes up. And I'm like, what did I miss? Because the mermaid kiss hasn't happened yet. Nothing has come to heal this man. I don't understand how you survive a slit throat. That's
I think it was supposed to be an act, but it was too convincing to my audience
why would
eyes.
the quartermaster be acting? He
Because
doesn't
Penelope Cruz said to fake the death so that she would cry tears of joy when they were reunited. Because
But
she's a
then
woman. That was my least favorite line, where it's like, "Are you sure this will work?" Yes, she is a woman, and so am I.
Oh,
over
okay.
sexism there, but like they needed to show the shots to reinforce
Yeah.
that it was a fake
What?
slit. Like
Just
it was
say
not.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that, and then yes, the mermaid kiss at the end is confusing. But then how much they keep coming back to this whole weird subplot of her wanting to save Blackbeard's soul. And I'm like, first of all, this feels very forced. And this kid obviously doesn't give 2 hoots about saving this guy. So I'm very confused as to why he's here, what his purpose is, why they wouldn't really just kill him, because he was just getting in the way. I'm like, this seems really unlikely. This guy's willing to kill anybody, but this guy's still alive? Like, very confusing. And his character, like we've said, it's not a well-written character. The guy has like no chutzpah, for lack of a better word. Like, I'm like, there's no fight there. I don't feel a drive or an initiative at all out of this character. And I do feel like it was a little bit of wasted space in the whole story.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is he the same guy from Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Okay, because I did not realize he was that guy from Hunger Games until he took his shirt off.
Nipples? Was it the nipples, Lisa? Could you tell by the
it was the shoulder. It was like those like really like strong shoulders. And I was like, that's the Hunger Games guy. And it was like halfway through the movie at that point. I will just say that I appreciated his like shirtless form. yeah, that's about it. Because no character, and I felt bad for the actor because he didn't have anything to play with. Like
nothing.
I'm a Christian. I'm a good guy. I am trying to save the soul of Blackbeard. I'm falling in love with this mermaid. Like it's just so one-dimensional. Not about it.
Well, you see, I was 14 when this movie came out. So I saw Sam Claflin and I was like, I love him. He's gorgeous. And when my dad gave me this movie, I watched it through once. And then I rewatched the Sam Claflin and mermaid scenes like multiple times. I have those scenes memorized because I love those scenes. I wanted to be Serena because I wanted him to look at me like that because that's what I wanted. They did the romance for me, a little 14-year-old girl. They did that very well for me. Okay. So I loved him. I understand what you guys are saying. It is very one-dimensional. It does not give him much, but I do feel like, because in my most recent rewatch of this, I like said in a couple live streams back that like Elizabeth is the pirate and like Captain Jack, he's a good man. And this movie just is telling you over and over again how Jack is a good man and he's not so much a pirate. So that was like my eyes opening. I was like, wow, they really just like lean into it. And I feel like the whole movie was like talking about like what makes somebody good, what makes somebody bad kind of thing. So I feel like that's the only reason they kind of put clergyman in there. They didn't really explain it well. That wasn't done great, but they were like, we need religion in here because I feel like that's a good way to explain like what's good or bad. So we'll put him in there. But yeah. I don't know.
I also, on the note of the clergy guy, I also found it really interesting that he's all like, he's altruistic and everything until two scenes where all of a sudden his life's in danger and he's like, if you could manage a tear, and then like, now it's all about get the tears out of her. Then at the end, he's all about like, oh, what the thing you seek can be found in heaven and faith and all of this. But yet, when he's dying, he doesn't ask God for forgiveness. He asks the mermaid for forgiveness, and I'm like, isn't that like heathen? I don't. Are you supposed to be?
I feel like this
God
is like they had such a wasted opportunity, and that could have been explored, and that would be such a good movie on its own to have like a super religious guy meet a mermaid and be like devil creature, and then fall in love with her, and then like show me that arc. Even if that's not the main story, it could have happened with as much screen time as he had in this movie, but it wasn't written that way. And that's like, and I feel like the guy's not a bad actor, but the role is written so badly that
he did the best with what he was given.
Yeah.
I feel like at the end when he's asking for forgiveness, I don't think in the way that, because I've rewatched these scenes a lot, I never saw it as like, he's asking for her to save him. I think it's her being like, I can save you. And he's like, you don't need to save me. I want forgiveness for like treating you badly and trying to trick you and stuff like that. And like, she just takes that as like, I'm going to save you anyway kind of thing. So I don't feel like it's a please God help me and it's the mermaid thing. I just feel like he doesn't understand that she can actually like save his life.
Yeah. You know, the end of that movie,
I don't understand that as an audience member.
Yeah, if you don't know that one little line about her saving him, the end of that movie could seem very dark. Like,
first time I watched it, I was like, "Is he dead?
Is she taking him to eat him?"
I know. I was like,
"Now I'm going to take you back to my little cave underwater."
That's the line you remember is that the mermaids like give you a kiss before they eat you and everything. You remember that line. You don't remember the line. That they'll kiss you and save your life.
Yeah. It's such an interesting concept to me that because there was with the clergyman and how like he is the representation of good.
Mhm.
I'm like, I want to know exactly what year this movie was supposed to take place in, because you also have the Spaniards who at that time are extremely Catholic, but they're
Well, and
also
at the end, when they tear down the place, they say they're tearing it down because it's
Mhm.
heathenistic. It's,
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you want to add some religious subtext to this, cool. I'm all about that. But you got to be a little historically accurate, and you have to like show the different, like, because he's probably Protestant, if anything, the
Mhm.
clergy guy, and like what that's all about. I get it. It's a Disney movie. You only have so much time, but like it could have been interesting.
It would have been
Yeah.
17, like the early 1700s, because they say Ponce de Leon's been dead for 200 years and he died in 1521. I just looked that up. So
Okay.
that would have been about the time period, which makes sense because the mid to late 1600s is when all the other ones were happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, I think missed opportunities here, but
So many missed
Hot guy.
opportunities.
Yeah.
very hot guy.
It reminds me of when I was in theater school getting degree number 2. One of the guys in the class ahead of me had this theory that has stuck with me and proven to make sense, where he said the sooner they have a guy take his shirt off on stage is an indicator of how strong an actor he is. So if he's shirtless in the first scene, he's terrible. If it happens like midway through, he's mediocre.
No,
If it
Chris
doesn't happen
Chris
at all,
Hemsworth's a great actor. That's a lie.
Are you biased, Jeanette?
No, he's not even my type. I'm just saying he's a great actor and he finds himself topless in the majority of things he's in. So.
I feel like with Chris Hemsworth, he's the exception. They're like, let's get that shirtless scene out of the way so we can get on with the movie.
yeah, and I think Hemsworth as well. By now, he's established enough. But like, this is the first time I've thought about that theory in years, because it felt like the barometer was right. It happened like halfway through the movie. And
Yeah.
I feel like this guy is giving like a halfway decent performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind now when you see movies, plays, like it holds up. It holds up. So we talked about that love interest. Let's talk about Penelope Cruz and whatever was going on there. Because I feel, again, missed opportunity. I think the character on paper is fantastic, like daughter of Blackbeard, love interest for Jack. Fantastic. Like if we were going to introduce a love interest for Jack Sparrow, it would be the daughter of Blackbeard. That makes perfect sense. Penelope Cruz, I've never seen her in anything that I've liked, but I take it on good faith that she is a good actor because everyone else in the world says she is, and like Oscar nominations. And I've only seen her in this and 9, so not her greatest roles. But I feel like this could have been so much better, and it wasn't. And I, again, don't blame Penelope. I mostly blame the writing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many times I've watched this, but it's been a lot. And on this most recent viewing, I just now picked up the line where she was about to take her vows
Yeah,
as
she was
like
gonna
a
be a
nun.
nun.
What?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, she
And I
talks
was like,
about,
wait,
what were you
what?
doing in a Spanish convent anyway?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so like she was going to
yeah.
be a nun before she met Jack, and then Jack corrupted her and everything. And now apparently she's just gonna be a pirate for the rest of her life. Like, okay.
That was
but I
such
like,
lazy writing that made me so angry.
I was like, wait, what? I was like, is that why he keeps like Blackbeard keeps being like, oh well, like you are my moral compass and everything. I'm like, what? Why? And now I'm like, because she was gonna be a nun? Okay. It was weird. It was real.
Typically, I'm not a fan of a gratuitous flashback scene, but it would have been useful
Yeah.
to show us her in a nunnery being like, I'm going to be a nun.
Well,
Drive that home. Show us an image of her in the habit and like get us used to that idea. And then show us him like breaking her out of a convent. Like,
Yeah.
that would have been useful.
You know, develop their backstory a little bit instead of just like one lines tossed here and there. And then
Exposition.
We're like, okay.
Boom, boom. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like with Penelope Cruz, she is very attractive. She is a very good actor, in my opinion. Highly recommend watching Vicky Cristina Barcelona with her and Javier.
I was gonna say that's
like that is her peak because she like plays so like she plays anger and passion so well, and I feel like she was just toned down in this movie, and I wanted more of that. Like in the first scene when you see her reveal and they have that fight scene, it's great, and you're expecting to get more of that. And then it just kind of flattens. And I don't think it's her fault. I think it's might be the direction's fault. But Yeah, I wanted more understanding of her and Jack's past, because
Yeah.
it kind of like just flew
Yeah.
by really fast, and I tried to just accept it. And I also was confused if she was lying or not about the whole Blackbeard.
It's just
Yeah.
such a bad motivation that feels so
Yeah.
Well, and she
inorganic.
seems so into it. Like all of a sudden, she gives a a hoot. And
Yeah.
like I'm like, what? Like how? It's not believable. That's not believable. Honestly, the fact that we've spent like I mean, what I don't know how much time the other 3 movies were supposed to have taken up. Let's call it somewhere between 5 to 10 years, right?
Mhm.
We have heard nothing about her. Yet Jack's like, I think I was in love, blah, blah, blah. And then that also gets negated at the end of the movie where you're like, well,
He just leaves her there.
If you really did love her, like, what? I don't,
Mhm.
but I think it's because she, at the end of the movie, I feel like we're supposed to believe that she's the female version of him, that she would be willing to do anything to like get the hand up. But I'm like, but that wasn't the story you were trying to communicate to us this whole movie.
Yeah.
Like we weren't supposed to think she was that way. So I don't understand. They take us in like 3 different directions with her, I feel. And by the time the end of the movie gets there, you're like, oh yay, Jack and her are gonna be fine. And then like it's literally the opposite of that. And the end of this movie in general is like a bunch of piecemeal shots and scenes that just are all thrown together at the end of the movie. Like you keep thinking that's the last scene and then it's not. And it's like, but these are all only like 45-second scenes. Like keep going and going. I do feel like her character isn't as shallow as some of the others, but because they redirect us with her like so many times that it might as well be, because I have no time to settle into one idea and then if you were going to shock me with something, that's another story, but you don't. You just keep changing the story.
Yeah. I feel like she gets reduced at the end of the day to just like Blackbeard's daughter. Like,
oh yeah,
that's about it. And Jack Sparrow's love interest. She's not her own character. Like, I don't even remember her name of the character. I just know it's Penelope Cruz.
Angelica, yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
Eliza.
that sounds right. And so it's like she gets reduced to like these side characters and she doesn't have like her own thing. A flashback scene would have helped that. If we started the movie with like her in the convent and then like Jack gets introduced, then that would have been really
or
cool.
them like being real passionate back in the day and us being like, oh, there's a girl, and then them showing us him being like, oh, forget about it or whatever. Like, like there's no, and I think that's the problem with this whole movie. There's like no tie-in to almost anything that we know already.
Yeah.
The biggest shock of this whole movie is Geoffrey Rush being part of the British Navy. Like that's the biggest shock to me.
And he has a peg
personally.
leg. That shocked me. But yeah. No, I think my issue with this movie, I'm realizing now, talking about Angelica, is that the first movies, I think their strength was that they were like playing into the genre and giving us a lot of the tropes, but subverting them, like making Elizabeth as solid a character as she was from the very beginning, even though she was very clearly like the damsel in distress role, even though before she was like 2 movies before she was the Pirate King, she still had so much agency to her. And like Keira Knightley, as we've discussed, fantastic. Whereas this movie, it's still giving us the tropes, but there's no subversions or surprises. Like Angelica is just everything you would expect from an underdeveloped pirate movie. And they're just giving her the like most cliche female motivations ever, where like she was going to be a nun, then she has daddy issues. She wants to save Blackbeard, the dad. And like her whole purpose is just being manipulated by men and being okay with it. And I'm just like, even Penelope Cruz, as good as she is, can't fight that that's what the script is making her character. Which is so sad because I don't know.
She's doing none of it for herself.
Exactly.
She's doing none of it for her own well-being.
Yeah. It's just so confusing. The whole thing with her character, and I think the whole movie itself, it confuses me as a viewer because I want to like her, and there are moments where I like her, and then her motivation, her objectives just don't make any sense. And it's disappointing because there's such potential there.
Yeah, and there's so much potential with her and Johnny Depp as Jack, which we see a little bit of, but it's wasted.
I feel like
Wasted.
they shot
Show
so
Vincent's
much more of
thing.
the movie, and then
Penelope's
they
fake
edited it to something that we
Makes it
got,
weird.
and
yeah,
there was
don't
gonna
you
be
feel
more.
like that? I feel like that too. I know this movie was already almost 2 hours and 2.5 hours long, but
Mhm.
I feel like they took all these scenes that focused in on the thing that was not that exciting
Mhm.
and like gave us those, but then didn't give us all the meat and stuff that maybe could have made us care more about what was really going on.
Yeah, no, and I think that's just it's so disjointed. I think that's what it is. And I think that's the issue with the pirate movies as they go on. Like I like the first one because of how unified everything seems and everything comes together so perfectly where everyone's motivations are all complementary and it
Yeah.
guides everything to the same place. Whereas in this, everything is just stretched in so many different directions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there's like that end credit scene where it was
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of like where she's on the island and she grabbed like his voodoo doll comes rushing in,
Mhm.
but like doesn't really do anything with it. It just shows her holding it and then it's blackout. I
didn't rewatch the end credit scene. I got to do that. I didn't. I
It's not worth
literally,
it.
You
Not
don't
worth
have
it.
Lisa's
No,
description was better.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if that's literally all that happens.
Yeah.
And I
That's
haven't
it.
seen the fifth one though. So maybe
Nor
She
I.
doesn't
into
come
it.
back. Nothing happens.
Of
with it.
course she doesn't.
It means nothing.
That's
Oh.
so disappointing to me because Javier Bardem is in it, and that's her husband. And
It is?
yeah,
Oh.
and
Maybe this
so
will be the
that
first
was, like,
Javier movie I like.
There was
Did
like
did they meet on Vicky Cristina?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I wonder if
It would
that's
make
the one.
sense.
That would be very sexy if that was how
100%.
their whole story went.
Oh, that's so disappointing knowing that she's not going to be in the fifth movie, and that end credit scene.
I also feel like that's where this franchise starts to fall apart because the thing, even though I'm not a big Will Turner or Elizabeth Swann fan, I am. I did find myself missing that beat and missing that inclusion in this movie. I love that Gibbs is in it, and I love that Barbossa's in it. Obviously, Barbossa might be the best part of this whole movie. Is that too much to say? I feel like Barbossa might be the best character in this movie. I liked his storyline.
Yeah.
Because his storyline makes the most sense. It makes sense with Barbossa. He had the Black Pearl finally again, and it got taken away from him by Blackbeard, and he's just doing the whole thing out of revenge. Like, that makes so much sense. It makes the most sense. And I feel like that subplot, it doesn't need a lot of, like, thinking to understand it, but they couldn't make the whole movie about it. They needed to have the Will Elizabeth scene, so they can't have Will and Elizabeth, so they're like, all right, we'll put a clergyman and the mermaid.
And I feel like the clergy mermaid storyline, love interest, and the Penelope Cruz Jack love interest, take that out, put more of that Black Pearl. Again, a flashback scene instead of Jeffrey Rush telling us what
Why is it in
happened
a
with
jar?
them. Yeah, like how does that happen? How does that
would be
happen?
cool to
I
explore.
really would love
There
to
was
see
no
that happen.
explanation. And then
I
at the end,
know.
just like, hey, we have all these other ships in jars. Great. How did they get there? What's the deal with Blackbeard? Is he magic? Does he just have a
know.
magic boat?
So I'm like, take the love stories out. I want to know about Barbossa's situation. I want to know about Jack. Anytime Jack and Gibbs are together on screen, like I'm just really into it. I love that whole dynamic. To Libby's point, I really feel like they ate up a lot of time with stuff that wasn't as well written, and they probably edited out a bunch of stuff that we would have liked. So yeah, I'm with you there. Like I would have taken more Barbossa, even though it was a good amount, but I love the story of him joining the military.
Yeah.
And you really do. That's the one thing, the whole movie, I'm like, ooh, why did he do that? That seems so weird, right? And then like when he describes it, you're like, oh, this is great. And he's really the shady one anyway. So
Yeah.
Because like he joins the Navy just so he can get revenge on Blackbeard to get his ship back. Like that's so pirate of him. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, as a person who hasn't watched the first three, I am excited to watch it, knowing that the love story with Elizabeth and Will is better than what I saw.
Yeah.
in this fourth
Yeah.
movie. And just like their characters themselves. So it can only go up from here, like I said.
And I think the big thing with Elizabeth and Will is that even though in the first movie they had not very much time to establish a relationship, they established that they met when they were kids, so you can fill in the blanks for yourself. Whereas this, it was just such a rushed, like Shakespearean style romance, and even when Shakespeare does it, I don't like it. But where it's like they meet, then they're in love. I'm like, no, you're 14. Listen to your parents. Like, it's basically my take on that. So yeah, I think this movie is trying to be so many movies, and if they had picked a focus, it could have been a really good movie. But they tried to make it a lot of things, and it was none, and it was nothing. Hi, friend. Got a new friend. Woot. Okay, I want to talk about my biggest disappointment, which was Blackbeard.
What? Really?
Yeah, I like 4 pirate movies in. We've had Jack Sparrow, we've had Barbossa, we've had Davy Jones, and then it's like we take 3 steps back with the most boring pirate ever on screen, but it's like the most exciting pirate ever historically. Like, that's my Blackbeard? No. Hashtag not my Blackbeard. What I have to say.
I will say, like, they really missed a beat on, like, he had the little beard that we see Blackbeard with, like, the ponytails. Where were the firecrackers? Like, that's a whole thing with Blackbeard, is that he used to have, like, fire in his beard. He used to have firecrackers in his beard. I was like, that's a at the movie theater. I remember thinking, like, Blackbeard is so, like, held up in mythology and, like, lore. And I'm like, there were so many things they could have done, and the most they did was tell us his real name.
I know.
That's so stupid.
I wanted more Blackbeard history. Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just
Go for it, Libby.
okay. We'll this, and then you can come back and raise him back up.
Okay.
Because you can't go from Davy Jones, who like amazing, like big bad pirate and everything, and then you go to Blackbeard, who everybody knows a lot of tales about Blackbeard. If you don't even know the tales of Blackbeard, you know Blackbeard pirate. That makes sense. So he's so well known, and then to have him, he just looks like a washed up rocker dude in some pirate makeup. To me, anyway.
And we actually get a washed up rocker dude in pirate makeup, and it's better than him.
And it is better. And so and like his whole thing is like he can control his ship with his sword. Okay, that's pretty cool. But there was no theatrics to him as a big bad pirate, and we needed that because we came from Barbossa first with all the dead pirates. Like that was a great first start off. And then we go to Davy Jones with all his fish people. Like, okay, a step up. And then we go to Blackbeard, who has some zombie-fied people in his crew who just
which they never explain that either.
No, and then
oh my god, if you don't understand voodoo culture, you don't know how that happened. Like, and I understand it, and I would have liked more of that.
Wait, there was voodoo explanation?
There's not. Exactly. Zombification is a voodoo thing, but if you don't know that already, then you don't know that.
Yeah, and he has like the voodoo doll of Jack. That's why that is there. But like they could have gone more into all of that, and that could have been like his thing. He's all voodoo and stuff, but they didn't, and it was just
I want to explore voodoo culture. So many things that this movie makes me want to learn because the movies didn't deliver. Lisa, though.
Okay, I totally agree, Jeanette and Libby, that like he is not written well, but Ian McShane is a fantastic actor.
He's awesome.
He's
great.
I was like, am I attracted to Blackbeard? Am I attracted to this old guy? He does a really good job at like being this like evil man.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I will agree that like the whole like lack of voodoo history and just the myth of who Blackbeard is, it was
Blackbeard, Yes.
But like we cannot discount Sir McShane.
No.
Oh no. We love Ian.
Most of the time, I do not discount the actors. It's usually the writing and the direction.
I was gonna say this movie suffers from having either good or fantastic actors and not writing to their level. Even Jack in this movie, we didn't push him to be more Jack or less Jack in any way, like to act something different. He, in this movie, I feel more than any other one, is just Jack for the sake of being Jack. Like there's no, usually we see something happening up here, and the only time we see that is when he's talking to Gibbs about his feelings. And then like, other than that, he's just good old Jack. Like he's just being regular Jack. Penelope Cruz, great actor, character written poorly. I don't know what kind of actor the Little Mermaid, the mermaid girl, the young mermaid girl. I don't know what kind of actress she is, but I'm sure if her character had been written better, she would have done better.
Because like Sam Claflin, amazing actor. They gave him just
Ian
a
McShane,
hot man.
Yeah. Fantastic actor. This character had no depth. None.
Yeah.
And it's a movie about the ocean, which is only depth.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Right? Vince says Black Sails had the best Blackbeard. I want to watch it.
Oh,
It sounds
I did want to
fantastic.
start that show. I'm glad you reminded me.
Isn't there a Blackbeard in Once Upon a Time? Or am I thinking?
I don't think so.
There probably is.
There might have been for like
probably
one
the
episode.
Sexiest Blackbeard ever, because God knows they give us some really great versions of characters on that show.
That show is such a hot mess. It fits perfectly into the pirate universe. Well, no, it
just slap a beard on Hook on Once Upon a Time and we'll be fine.
He has a beard.
Well, okay, like a full beard. I like his when he's Hook. I like it up here.
Keep him hot. He's part of the hot mess.
Oh my gosh. So I guess speaking of hot mess, let's talk about the direction, because we've already kind of circled around it. Because this movie's notable because it's the first one that wasn't directed by, was it Gore? Who directed the other three? Yeah. First one not directed by Gore, which is definitely a shift for the franchise, but also like a weird departure for Rob Marshall, who, like I said, in theory is one of my favorite directors, but he makes some missteps. So he's the guy who like gave us Chicago. It's probably the biggest movie that he's done. He did 9. He did Memoirs of a Geisha. He did the made-for-TV Annie with like every celebrity ever from '99. So Kristen Chenoweth and Kathy Bates and Victor Garber, Alan Cumming. So like I think he's a fantastic director sometimes, but I also think he was out of his element here in some ways. I think he's a weird choice because prior to that point, he hadn't really done any big action adventure style movies. They were all like musical theater or very theatrical movies in the case of Memoirs of a Geisha. And I think the best scene that I remember in this is when Jack and Penelope are dancing on the boat. And in my mind, I was watching the movie thinking, I like this scene. And I thought, wait, of course I do. It's Rob Marshall. It's two people dancing. Like that's what he does. He's good at expressing relationship through physicality. And he's usually really good, I find, with camera direction. Like if you just watch any of his movies, even Into the Woods, which I don't think is a great movie, but I don't think that's entirely Rob's fault. It's how it was adapted. Like he's really good at choreographing shots to move with actors. And I felt like I was missing that in this. I just feel like it was very much directed by somebody who, I want to say didn't know what he was doing, but didn't know what he was doing. But how do we feel?
So like hearing you list his filmography, it also makes sense that most of these settings and most of these situations are also not anything that's in anything else he does. Like big, sprawling tropical landscapes and sword fights and like, you know, just, and even down to like the makeup style. Like, and I feel like that all plays into how you film something or how you decide to make people move about on the screen, because like especially with like Jack's makeup and stuff, he did a lot of those close-ups we're used to of Jack because that formula had already been laid out. Those close-ups where we get Jack's like confused face or excited face or whatever, but then everything else did feel a little disconnected from how other Pirates movies typically play out in front of you. And I feel like there was like less, and usually I'm not a fan of sweeping shots of the landscape, but the other movies did that. They had lots of sweeping shots of wherever they were. And this one, I feel like it was a lot of like quick zoom ins, not a lot of shots. And again, maybe that's not the director. Maybe that's something else involved in there. But yeah, now that you're mentioning it, like I feel like even the fight scenes weren't kind of shot the way that we're used to seeing Pirates of the Caribbean fight scenes. So yeah, and I don't know, they're all touched by Jerry Bruckheimer, right? Like they're all Bruckheimer films.
Yeah.
Not that he has a ton to do with the directing, but like I do feel like that's what keeps it in the world. Like he's got that little kiss on everything. And aside from the writing, I do feel like we didn't get some of the things that we're familiar with in these movies as far as like visually.
I feel like watching this movie, in the previous movies, when you're watching it, it's supposed to be like, there are certain things that you look for in the Pirates movie, and when it happens, you're like, oh, this is how we're tying in this thing. And with this, it was very much like just checking off things that we needed to hit on a checklist. Like, he has his big escape at the beginning. Okay, we needed Jack Sparrow to have a big escape. Check, that's done. Okay, we need some big, like, choreographed sword fight scene. Oh, we'll do that with Penelope Cruz as Jack Sparrow. Okay, check, that's done. And they, like, never revisit those things. They're like, let's get those things out of the way. We'll have some iconic Jack Sparrow lines that we'll just have Johnny Depp. He'll come up with those and insert them in. And, like, everything just felt like, we'll just get the, like, main things we need from a Pirates movie off the list, and then we'll fill in the rest with, like, some things that the director wants to do. And I feel like to direct a Pirates movie in the Pirates franchise, you need to understand the past movies. You need to understand pirate culture and history, what they kind of want to do with the movies, how can we expand the movies and stuff like that. And if you're not a nerd about the movies, I don't feel like you're going to be a great director for the movies, because you need that nerdiness to be like, well, these are the things that I would love to see, so let's explore those in this next one, in this next chapter. And
this one felt very disconnected from the universe. I felt, even though you had Gibbs, you had Barbossa, but other than that, like, I felt it was a grand disconnect from the other three.
Yeah,
it's like, again, not knowing the other movies, it did seem that a director was brought in to help out some friends because they couldn't find anyone else. And he's a good director, but, like, he doesn't get the universe. So, like, yeah, you had, like, really good shots and stuff, but there was, like, the confusion that I was finding was the lack of, I think, directorial leadership that I hope I would see in the first three when I watch those, like, callbacks, or, fighting for a specific aesthetic choice in the fights or with makeup or with costumes. And, like, yes, I was not, completely disinterested in the movie as a first time watcher, but it just seemed like, in the direction, it was not something that the director was passionate about. And that's fine. And I think, like, you can get away with that in a franchise when you're on the fourth movie. But, like, from knowing the fandom of Pirates, I don't think it's acceptable.
Yeah,
like,
no, completely.
Furious? Fine, whatever. The fourth movie, director sucked, was not passionate about it. But with Pirates, just knowing, like, people love Jack Sparrow and people really want to, like, see new stories, it just wasn't, it didn't have that leadership that you would need from a director making the fourth movie what it is. So
yeah, I'm looking at the directors now, and yes, this was the first one not touched by Gore Verbinski, but then also I find it interesting that the fifth one, the one we'll talk about next week, was directed by a guy whose biggest film starred Penelope Cruz, but she's not going to be in that one. So I found I find it very interesting. I know we're ahead of ourselves a little, but I found that to be an interesting note, and that it was also done in partnership with another. The fifth one, which again we'll talk about next week, was done in partnership. So it does feel like they maybe lost themselves a little bit in the murkiness after Gore Verbinski wasn't on this anymore. It does say, though, that the person that he worked in unison with on the fifth one is the director for the sixth one. So maybe after we talk next week about the fifth one, we'll find out. And who knows what kind of production hell that didn't do to everything that's happened recently. So we'll see what happens.
Wow, 6, huh?
Oh, and then there's going to be 7. There's 2 more.
This one also was the last one. The screenplay was actually written by the same people that did the first 3. So that's very interesting to me, because that doesn't feel at all to be the case.
No, but the weird thing with this one is that it's half adapted from a book, also called On Stranger Tides, which is apparently, like, pretty prominent pirate fiction / sci-fi fantasy fiction from the 80s, like somewhere between 85, I think, to 89. And so I think
Oh,
they
no,
just.
I'm thinking of
opted
Pirate
it.
Latitudes. I thought you were gonna. I thought it was a.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds fantastic.
I think that was a Michael Crichton book that he didn't finish. If I'm correct, it's a Michael Crichton book that he didn't finish. That was finished posthumously, and for a second I thought that was it, and I was like, oh,
That would be
well,
fun.
they really screwed up because this definitely didn't feel like Michael Crichton.
No, the author is definitely still alive, or was when this was made, and it sounds like it was kind of they sort of had to buy the rights because the story that they were gravitating towards just had a lot of elements that they were probably going to get sued anyway if they didn't buy the rights, because they wanted to do Blackbeard and they wanted to do the Fountain of Youth, and this guy's book On Stranger Tides is about Blackbeard looking for the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
And so they, from the sounds of it, were just like, let's just take his story and combine it with the Pirates verse.
So I just pulled it up. It
Yeah.
was 1987.
Good year.
And yeah, exactly, right.
Good
That's what I
vintage.
was thinking.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with Pirates of the Caribbean. But I also find it interesting. We were sitting here talking about how voodoo stuff played a big role in this, yet they never freaking say that. And it literally says voodoo magic is an important plot device. And I'm like, well, maybe we should have explained that. Jesus, I'm like, come on, really? And that's so interesting. Like, people care about that. It's enticing. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Why didn't you explain that?
Because we only
Oh
get
my
like
God.
a hint of voodoo with like Tia Dalma, and she's gone. So like
She's
you could,
cracked.
yeah. So you could go way more into that in this movie with Blackbeard and all the voodoo stuff, because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we're kind of familiar with that a little bit. Now let's explain more about it, and it's not. And
Also-
you just
And I don't know if this is in this man's book, and maybe he changes the story, whatever. But I don't know if you know, but the Fountain of Youth is in St. Augustine, Florida. Okay, the official recognized Fountain of Youth is
It's
in
a
St.
real
Augustine.
thing?
Yes, you can go visit it. I didn't when I went to St. Augustine because I was a teenager and I was broke, and they charge you $25 to go in. But I
Do you
did
get to
not.
drink from it for $25?
No, you can buy a little thing. My parents, okay, side story. My parents had a little ceramic jar from the Fountain of Youth with water in it when I was a kid, and had a little cork in it. And I thought I was the shiz because I snuck into the living room one night and took it down off the little collectible shelf and opened it. And I think they'd had it since like the 70s or something. I don't know. And I took a sip out of it and I was like, ah, I'm going to die. And obviously I've aged. So whatever. But it didn't work. Just to let you all know.
Oh my God, Jeanette, that reminds me of a story I heard of like guys selling fake holy water blessed by the Pope when like they go like when he comes and tours, and like people will be like, yes, here's $100, give me the holy water.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be St. Augustine, Florida, but yet in the movie there's like looks like Costa Rica, right? Like mountains covered in tropical foliage. I'm like, I don't know if you've ever seen Florida, but it's very flat. Like it's very flat. So I don't know where this Fountain of Youth is, but the one that we all know about is in St. Augustine, Florida.
Well, that's what I kept asking myself. I was like, are they in Florida? Because like they keep mentioning Ponce de Leon, and I'm like, it has
That's
Florida. But like, and the end credit, it says that they filmed in Hawaii and probably on a soundstage somewhere.
Yeah, in his book, I'm reading it right here. It says in the book, he says that the Fountain of Youth is in Florida. And I'm like, well, that is not Florida.
No.
I don't know where that is supposed to be, but it is not Florida.
Gosh.
But also they have to like go into like a pool in the ceiling.
And that made me realize like maybe there's a disconnect. Also, that's another inconsistency because the guy is wounded. They're in this mythical Fountain of Youth area, and then somehow he's running back into the woods where the mermaid is. And I'm like,
Yes.
what? How
You
did
have
you
to go
get
back
into
through the floor.
ceiling or through the floor, whatever, with your split gut? Like, what?
Yes.
How?
and then it's
I'm so
all water connected because she goes from the little pool with
Yes.
him, gives Jack the chalices, and then comes back.
Where's the geography?
Exactly. But then
Dying.
also when the Spaniards are coming, like it's like a huge army. How do they all fit all at once
Into
in
the
the
ceiling.
pool? Like what?
The
There's
entire-
lots of inconsistencies.
Yeah. While we're on the subject of the Spaniards, there was any man in this movie other than Jack Sparrow that I wanted to see if we're gonna, who gets to choose who goes topless. The leader of that Spanish Navy.
The mustache? Yeah.
Oh, that hair. Give me a break.
gets-
Come on.
One line. He's like,
Yeah. I'm like,
Let's
come on.
burn this
Who's
place.
this guy?
And
He's
then leaves.
awesome.
Well, but by the theory, he's the best actor in the movie.
Yeah. It stays clothed.
Let's see who we have here. Movie Mania Nick has joined us. Hello, Mary. She's loving our mostly girl panel. Well done. Plus Matt. Woo. I'm directing a musical that's like it's not an all-woman musical. There's one guy in it, but it's now being advertised and picked up by news outlets as like this all-woman musical is coming to Niagara Falls. I'm like, I'm directing it. I'm there too. Good times. Vincent says, Lisa with the case-winning questions, right?
Spanish. The Spanish.
Spanish. It's always about the Spanish. Oh my goodness. What else I want to ask about this movie? I think we've covered most of it. Rob
Right.
Marshall messed it up. Mermaids were scary. That was fantastic. Yeah. Let's go on to the game.
I missed
Game
game. I
I know.
love game.
The game is so much fun.
Before we go into game time, can I give one just parting piece of, since I couldn't be here last week, At World's End. I like it more than the second one. I really am so sad I couldn't be here to talk about it. That is the love story in the entire franchise that I care about is Davy Jones and Calypso. That is the only one that I give two hoots about because I actually cried over it. And I love Calypso's character. She's probably my favorite female character in the whole franchise. Anyway,
Solid choice.
that's
solid
my
choice.
piece. I love her so much. And I thought that movie was fantastic. So.
Yeah, I wish you were here to discuss it. We said there was so much we had to say about that movie. And she turned into crabs. It was weird. I'll always find that.
Oh, and the like upside down, like the pirates equivalent of the upside down where Jack goes. Love it.
Oh, I hated it.
So confused.
Oh, Jeanette, we should just do it again with you here to defend it.
I know, right?
Do a part two.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Stranger Tide. No, what's that one? At World's End Again.
At World's End.
At World's End Again. Yeah. So Jeanette, is the world flat? That's something we discussed last week.
I feel like it plays into that trope, like it's lore. I don't think it actually is supposed to be. I think like in magical, mystical world alteration, that's what happens.
I was kind of confused, but whatever.
Yeah.
No, still, At World's End. Better in my mind than Dead Man's Chest. Yes. Yeah. Tied it together. And yeah, love Calypso. Love her. Also, fun fact, that actor is like, she has the Order of the British Empire. She like has OBE attached to her name. Yeah.
Really?
I know. Yeah.
That's
For
pretty
services to
intense.
drama. I wasn't aware that she like did that much for drama, but the Queen said she did, so that's good
Wow.
enough for me.
Yeah.
I think it's Naomi Harris.
Ooh.
I need to watch these movies immediately now.
Yeah, right? Oh, what do we have? Mary says, sorry, Matt. I am the icing on the cake, aren't I? That's why I'm here at the top. Okay, so for today's game, it's inspired by part 4s of movie franchises.
Oh,
Since
no.
we're talking about the 4th Pirates movie. So I am going to name a franchise. You have to tell me the title of the 4th movie produced in
Oh
that
my
franchise.
God. Oh
That's
my God.
awful.
Yeah, I know,
That
right?
could be fun.
They've got to all be horror movies because that's the only ones that get to that point.
Well, I wish Morgan was here because I could just imagine how angry she'd be at the game. It'd be so entertaining.
Oh my God.
yeah.
It's got to
So-
all be horror movies.
Now, to be clear, it will always be the 4th movie that was produced, not the 4th chronologically.
Because
Star
they might
Wars
have
is
had a
in here,
prequel.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Star Wars is one of the
I
questions,
can't,
isn't
can't
it?
say. I don't know.
Question.
Yes.
But like, if it were, you want to think in terms of years that the
I hope
movies
so.
came out.
I might get
not,
one right.
Yeah, not orders. All right, here we go.
Okay.
And what was the bonus question? Oh, the bonus question is fun too. So excited. Feel free to play along in the chat, everyone. So yes, and actually, I don't want to give hints. I was going to give a hint, but I'm not going to give a hint. So
So it's always chronological, never in like how they actually go.
it's always like the 4th movie that was released in the franchise.
Release
Date-
order, not
Date of
chronological order.
release. Okay.
Yeah, date of release, not story chronology.
Got it.
That really only actually no, that applies to quite a few of them. Here we go. First, I guess I could just go in order. Shrek. What is the
There was
title
a
of the
fourth one?
fourth? Yeah, there was the fourth Shrek movie.
Ooh, I know this one.
Oh,
I know my
no.
Shrek. That is a film
Oh,
franchise. If you ever
no.
do a month about Shrek, I will be here for every single one.
A Shrek month? Oh
Love Shrek.
Oh no, that was the best
Okay.
reaction.
no! Hold on, I've got to think.
Yeah.
I know the third one. I
That's
know the
it.
third one.
You know the title of the third one? I don't.
Yeah, because it was just Shrek 3, wasn't it?
No, it was Shrek the Third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Swapping around.
I don't
Shrek
know.
4. The final
Shrek,
chapter.
Where the 4 is the K.
No, it's Shrek Forever After.
Forever After.
Forever
Ugh.
After.
Swamping
I like
Around
mine
is such
better.
a better title.
Swamping Around is better, yeah. Movie Mania Nick gets a point.
Good job,
And
Nick.
But I'm gonna
got
write
it all
that.
up
There we go.
here.
Nick, I put you on my scoreboard. There we go. All right.
Little Shrek in a big city.
God, I love these answers. This is hilarious. Okay. Next, Indiana Jones.
Ooh. Oh. Ew, you're talking about that one.
I
Hate that movie.
think
Hate
the
that
through-
movie.
Exactly
The
what you're talking
the
about.
through
Nick.
line we're going to see with this is that more often than not, part 4 is the worst one.
Is it? Hold on. And
Sometimes it gets better after the 4th. Not always.
will you give points if it's close and like the ands, thens, theys, and all those things aren't in order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I may be missing
sure.
like a word here. I think I'm missing a word. I'm not sure.
Yes. I'm sorry. I saw Jolly
Okay.
Holiday with Mary saying Shrek Month. I love it, but we need the
We need the
musical.
musical.
involved. Yes, we
If,
do.
if
I
Shrek
love
Month
that
ever happens,
musical.
the musical will be there too. Don't worry.
The musical so much.
3, 2, 1. Crystal Skull with the star of Even Stevens.
Yeah, exactly.
It is the star of Even Stevens.
You're not wrong. You're just not right.
Was that right? Is Crystal? Oh, it's the Kingdom. I thought so. I
Kingdom
almost
of the-
put the Kingdom.
If Crystal
I
Skull was there, yeah, you get the point.
I was gonna say I almost put the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and I go. I think I'm making that up in my brain. I don't think there's a kingdom anywhere.
Yeah, that's the one with the aliens.
Oh God, they
Just
really,
like this is the
fudged
Mermaid movie.
that.
That's the Alien movie.
Oh my
It's great.
yeah, they really fudged that thing up. I was so excited for that.
And well, maybe 5 will redeem it. We
I
need one
hope
more
so.
before Harrison retires from life.
Or he
Okay,
breaks all his
next.
bones. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Harrison. Scream.
Yay. That's my favorite.
There he says Indiana Jones meets the X-Files. Terrible film, indeed. I'm going to say with this one, follow your
hold on.
instinct.
Hold on. Wait. Are you being literal? Hey, are you being literal on this one?
Just the title's the title. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Well, there is a difference, but I'll write both.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I'll accept what Nick wrote as well as what I have. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. There you go. It's one
The
of
ghosts are back in town. Scream 4. Yeah, it's Scream 4. Or Scream with the 4 in the
yeah,
the title.
exactly.
I didn't know
think
that's
My titles
that.
are so much
I was
better.
like, I feel like all the Scream movies are Scream 2.
They're just Scream. Yeah, they're just
Scream
Scream.
4.
Yeah.
except Scream 5 is just called Scream again. They
Yeah.
came all the way back to just normal Scream.
Really?
Even though it's not a reboot, it's very much a continuation. Yeah,
But it just Scream.
Weird.
it's not a reboot.
All right. Next, Mission Impossible. We'll say this one has like the coolest title in all the Mission Impossible films.
Oh Lord.
Or maybe it don't, I don't actually know what the other ones are called, but I just like the title of this one. It's a good one.
I know them all, but I don't know what order they. Well, not all. I can't say that.
Yeah, there's so many. Do 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 do.
Do we need like the
Do-do-do.
punctuation?
No,
'Cause I know there's stuff in there, but nah.
Hold on.
Like basically, if you get the two main words, then you'll get the point. I've said too much. I've said too much. Mary, oh my gosh, there are so many my movies. There are.
Okay. I
Wait,
know it.
3. Okay.
Hold
Nick is so good at this game. Don't look at his answer because it's right.
He is movie mania Nick. He'd be really fudging it if he.
Yeah, that's
like...
true.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Mission Impossible Ghost something.
Ghost-
Is Tom Cruise still doing his own stunts? Ghost Protocol. Libby, you got it.
Yeah,
That's
Lisa,
a
because once you
ghost
once you
something.
reach clear, you can never hurt yourself.
My original answer was, is Scientology still a thing?
Yeah.
And
I
then I
don't
thought
want to insult any possible cultists in this chat.
and I was like, that's too offensive. But
No, it's the right amount of offensive. I love that. Oh my god.
oh, he is still doing his
It's
stunts.
the worst of the recent films. Everything after is good. Is
Oh.
Mission Impossible good enough to merit a month? I've never seen them. I don't know.
Look, the only thing that would ever get me to watch them is that they have Simon Pegg in them, and I think I can just watch all those scenes on
Really?
YouTube, so.
Oh,
Yeah, he's in the
want-
newer ones.
I've decided I want to do a Cornetto trilogy marathon.
Oh,
Yeah, I love Simon Pegg. Although the rest of the year is booked for other delightful marathons, which we'll announce
Mhm.
eventually. So excited. It's going to be such a good year of movies. All right, next, the Jurassic movies with the dinosaurs and stuff.
oh, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, the movie
Right.
franchise.
And you
with
want the fourth one chronologically.
the fourth one that came out.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the title of the fourth movie is also kind of the title of the
Yes, a
franchise.
whole. Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I
fine.
just said the Jurassic movies, the
the
dinosaur ones.
Jurassic franchise.
Yeah.
I love the Jurassic.
I haven't seen the new one. I
I
wanted
have.
to.
We went opening night.
Don't go in expecting a good movie. Just go in expecting fun dinosaurs.
Oh, that's
then
all
you'll
I
have a
ever
good time.
expect from any movie that's not the first one.
Oh,
Exactly.
hurts my
And then it's a
heart.
great time.
Yeah. Okay, let's see our answers. 3, 2, 1. Humans ruin everything. It is Jurassic World.
I will agree with you though, Libby. It is not as good as the second one, the second Jurassic World.
Oh my gosh.
The second
so
Jurassic
sorry. I
World
do
was
not know
I'm
like
I-
trying to remember what happens in that one.
the Fallen
I like
Kingdom.
the first.
Point again
Oh.
for Nick.
I like the first Jurassic World.
It was
best.
very. The first one's very good. The second one though, I cried like half the movie, which is an indication to me personally that it was a good movie.
Oh, Mary, you need to bring you and your movie snob significant other onto the show and talk dinosaurs with us. Yes. I like this answer.
that
Jurassic
was
Park.
good.
I agree. Full agree.
What does he take off his shirt in that movie?
How many times did they say what? in
You
number?
know, I don't know that it's ever fully off, and I feel like that's an injustice. I don't know that it's ever fully off.
Oh, for Jurassic Pratt?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess he's just such a good actor now. Who knows?
Well, you can't top Jeff Goldblum in the first movie with his.
That's
Oh
true.
boy.
You can't.
Ugh.
Boy, oh boy, don't
Yeah.
make me go get my pop doll.
You have the pop doll?
Oh,
You have the
they're
one, the
playing
sexy
on
line?
side. Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Good.
Oh boy. You want to meet a girl who was in Jeff Goldblum. I have Jeff Goldblum posters on my wall when I was like 8. It's
Okay, so
bad.
that's your type.
Thanks.
If I had a type, it would have started there. Yeah.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Jeff
Oh.
Goldblum.
Have you watched The World According to Jeff Goldblum?
Yes.
Okay, good. It's a delight. I love it.
Yes.
It's so good, so good. Then it says I only enjoyed it because of Bryce Dallas Howard. Like she's always
Her
good.
too. Her too. I'm obsessed with like everybody in that movie. It's insane.
Next, Harry Potter,
Oh shoot! What did I just do?
the fourth Harry Potter movie. What could it be?
again, it started to get bad at the
Yeah.
fourth one. Yeah.
Yeah. Every
Seeing a
single
trend.
time.
Just
And then
make trilogies, guys.
some of them redeem themselves from 5 onward. I would
Mhm.
say that was the case with Potter, because then 5, I think, is when they brought on David Yates, who I feel like he's the only reason they made the rest of the series into movies, because the 5th movie proved that
Yeah.
it could be good. No,
Well, I feel like from the fourth book on, the books get bigger. They're not as easily put into a movie because
Yeah.
there's so much more that happens. So I feel like it just goes off the rails.
yeah, publishers will do that too. Yeah, so I know the 5th one is so long because they just said the world wants more Harry Potter. Don't edit the book. Just give us the whole thing. And that's why, like, I was at my mom's this weekend and saw all my Harry Potter books together, and then just like normal size book, normal size book, normal size book, half the shelf, normal size book, normal size book. Yeah, it's so big, too long. All right, let's see. Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
Before J.K. Rowling became transphobic. I mean, let's be honest. She probably always was. It's just before
Yeah.
we knew.
I was gonna be like, well, before we knew.
Before we knew.
It was a happier play. It was a happier time. This is why, for the most part, I abide by the theory of death of the author. I'm like, I just want to know what you created. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what you're about.
Don't tell me your worldviews.
Don't tell me your worldviews. Oh gosh. Just imagine how much content would be tainted if we knew about like the philosophies of everybody like pre 1900.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think we.
Well, we kind of do. We have a fair idea. We have a fair idea.
idea.
But they didn't have Twitter.
Yeah, that's what does it in.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine like if Hemingway had Twitter?
Yeah, I could actually. That would
All I
be-
know of Hemingway was what I saw in Midnight in Paris, but still it entertains me, the thought.
It would just be like drunk tweets all through.
Exactly.
Right. That's all.
Next, Star Wars. We knew it was coming.
Okay, I should know this.
Again, this is the 4th one that was released to the world to watch. Not in the weird Star Wars mismatched.
And we're not counting the Christmas special. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, we really should, but no, we're not.
Okay, I'm really gonna try this time.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. A Jedi.
A Jedi, not the Jedi. Just
A
one
Jedi
of them.
returned. Oh my gosh.
Just one Jedi.
Guys, I'm so bad at this.
Oh, Jedi returns.
A Jedi.
Episode 1, something. Yeah, episode 1. Like, I'll give you a point for that. Mary.
What was it? It was a Phantom Menace?
It was
Phantom
Phantom Menace.
Menace.
Yeah.
Darn.
What's funny is if you, because it's the 4th one we're talking about, if you turn that around, it's funny because it's like the first one is the 4th one,
Yeah.
and the 4th one is the first. I don't know
That is
why
weird.
I find that entertaining, but I do.
I find that interesting as well. It's Star Wars logic, which means that there is none. Next, Rocky.
Oh Jesus, piss off! Come on. Really? Freaking
Yeah.
Rocky.
Rocky 4.
Rocky. Get out of here. Rocky.
Like Rocky
Doesn't
versus
have a
Balboa. I don't know.
Rocky versus Balboa. That would have been a funny one.
Because the biggest fight is the internal one. See, I could have written the 4th Rocky movie.
Okay.
Wait. No, wait.
Yeah, Mary, apparently there's 4 Rocky movies.
I think
And
there's
then
more than that,
there's-
isn't there?
Well, I know we definitely have 2 Creed movies, which are kind of reboots, but I feel like within the Rocky verse, there might be at least 5.
I feel
Or
like
more.
it. Maybe.
They just didn't end. They just kept making them more Rocky movies. He had to rock even harder.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. 3, 2, 1. Rocky 4, Rocky 4. Adrian, are you still here? It's me, Rocky.
I don't. Sorry.
Well, yes, it was Rocky 4.
Oh, is it really?
Yes,
Is
it's just
Adrian
Rocky.
Oh,
Is Adrian in the movie?
Yeah, was that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I haven't seen any Rocky movies.
yeah.
My legacy with Rocky, which is this is like such a Matt thing. I haven't seen the movie, but I saw the Broadway musical. So when people were like, Matt, have you seen Rocky? I'm like, on Broadway.
Yeah.
Broadway.
Probably better.
Yeah, it's not a good musical, which is sad because it had such a good writing team. It was the same people that did Ragtime and Seussical, and I love those shows. Yeah, and like the music is okay, but it's just nowhere near the caliber of what their other shows were, and it made me sad. But it was cool. Like for the final fight scene, they evacuate the first like 7 rows of the audience and bring them on stage, and then they build the like boxing ring in the middle of the house. So like the stage extends out, and I was in the first row that wasn't evacuated, so I was like right there watching them build the boxing ring next to me, and I had like basically ringside seats for this musical theater boxing match. It was very entertaining.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the actual direction was amazing. It was the same guy. It was Alex Timbers, who's the guy that did Moulin Rouge recently on Broadway, and he created Peter and the Starcatcher, which is like the greatest play of all time. Yeah, we love him. Next. Okay, National Lampoon's Vacation. The fourth vacation movie.
It's like I know that.
My personal favorite vacation movie, even though everyone argues that it's the worst one.
No, well then you might have just given me a good clue.
Oh, I personally like the fourth one is my favorite.
Let's see.
I don't know National Lampoon vacation movies.
Some of them are quite funny. Well, I think
like
this one
gotta be it.
I think this one's delightful. There's the one that everybody mostly loves, and they hail it as like a classic.
The Christmas one?
Well, maybe that's
Is that the fourth one?
Who knows?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, it's one of two. It's one of two. I'm going with a different one.
Yes, if it makes things. Actually, I don't want to give a hint. I was going to give a hint. I was going to be like, these are the 4 places they go in the vacation movies. But no. We're above that. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. 4th of July, Vegas, monsoon Christmas.
Soon.
Monsoon Christmas. I don't know.
Oh, that is actually, yeah. No. Well, one of you got it. As did Martha. It's Vegas Vacation.
Yay, I knew it. I was like, it can't be Christmas. That's too early in the series.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Christmas is number 3. It went just normal vacation, European vacation,
Yeah.
Christmas vacation, Vegas. Vegas, I love. It's hilarious. Although people argue with me and say it's a terrible movie, I think it's fantastic.
I don't think there's a bad National Lampoon's movie. I think they're all good.
I haven't seen the new vacation.
Oh, well then I take that back. I haven't either.
Yeah, because that felt like that kind of killed the
I didn't know there
vacation
was a
vibe.
new one.
There is, like Chevy Chase is in it at the very
Like, oh,
beginning,
no.
but it's Rusty taking his kids on vacation, and it's not even a Rusty actor. It's I can't remember who the actor is. Someone who's kind of prominent as a comedian. It's not the guy from Ted Lasso, but it's someone kind of like him.
Oh, maybe I did see that. No, I know what you're talking about, and I did. I think we went and saw that in theaters. I don't remember it. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's also Christmas Vacation 2.
That I really didn't know existed.
I think it's a TV movie, and it's just about Cousin Eddie.
Oh, well, that
and
should be good.
No,
Logically.
Cousin Eddie is like a Jack Sparrow in my mind. You don't have a whole movie about them.
No,
They need to be on the
exactly. I'm like,
sidelines.
logically that should be good, but
yeah,
maybe
no.
not.
And then it's probably around the time Randy Quaid got weird. Next. Oh, final in the normal round. Here we go. Twilight.
Oh
The
my
4th
God. Really?
Twilight movie.
Okay, I should know this one.
And since this is
I'm gonna
kind of
make
one
a
of the easier ones,
wild
air
guess.
quote, I would like specifics.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a wild guess. I know like most of the names. I hate these movies.
I've only seen the first one. It was not by choice.
The first one's the only one you need to see to understand. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's
Oh,
just
no,
funny
no.
to watch.
I got it, and I liked all the characters that weren't Bella and Edward. Like I liked all of her friends, and it made me so angry that she was giving up this really cool social circle of like people that seemed like fun kids to hang out with, just to hang out with the Cullens. Like Anna Kendrick and all these other fun people are right over there. Sit at that table. Not the vampires. Come on. All right, let's see. 3, 2. Oh, Lisa's still writing.
Sorry, hold on.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, but not really.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Eclipse Part 2 or 50 Shades of Grey. It is Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Darn!
Point to Libby.
I'm disappointed. I
It's
know
the
that.
one. Oh, it's the one that stumped Nick.
Yeah.
There we
That's
go.
good. Good for you, Nick. I felt bad even answering that question, to be honest.
Okay, now's the point where I tell you how many points you have, and you can pick how many you want to wager. Jeanette, you have 7.5. Libby, you have
Got a
8.
half point?
Yeah, you got a half point. I can't remember why. I think you said half of something right.
Okay.
That was probably why. Lisa, you have 4.
Thanks. Thanks for the pity points.
How many would we like to wager?
I'm gonna wager just because for once I have a half a point. I'm gonna wager 3.5 points.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Libby,
All 8.
8. Okay. Lisa,
All 4.
oh, 4. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Now, this is one of those questions where there are 2 parts to it. So if you get one part of the answer right, you double your points. If you double whatever you wagered. If you get both parts, then you triple what you wagered. So this can go lots of different ways. Here we go. What movie franchise has the most films in it, and how many films are there? So which movie franchise has the most movies in it, and how many movies? Closest to the actual number will get the point.
I have a question.
I
Yeah.
have an idea.
Does this count for like universes?
I would say so. Yes.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Make a wild guess here.
Should I give a hint?
Yes.
Can we each ask one question? And you
Yeah, let's
answer?
do that. You can each ask one question.
I already asked.
My question is it a horror movie? If you're taking this long, then it's not what I think it is.
Some of them are. I would say some of them are.
Oh. Okay. Ask away, girls, because now I'm very confused.
I've already asked mine. It's all you, Libby.
Libby,
I
do you
keep
have a
thinking
question?
it's one.
I
but
know,
it could
right?
be like something else. I don't want to ask that question. Are superheroes involved?
Oh, that's not all one movie though. That's like a
I
whole.
haven't.
Well, that's what I was
I
saying.
personally haven't seen. I can't easily answer a hard yes and be
Oh,
confident in
then
that.
okay. Then
So
it's
that's
not
that's my answer. There might be, but I don't know for a fact. I'm almost positive it's a no.
What movie has the?
And the clue I
Wait.
was going to give is that this franchise is largely, if not entirely, centered around one character.
Okay. All right. I got
So
it.
it is what. You're shady, Matt. You're being real shady.
And remember, whoever gets the number closest
All right,
will
I'm going
triple
with
their
my
points.
going with my first instinct, even though you gave me a really weird answer.
I'm ready.
This can't be it though if you answered this question this way because there's only one answer to this question. But
I
right, we haven't got that pained look on our face.
I
Like
know.
okay.
Let's see. We'll go one at a time. Libby, what's your answer? James Bond.
Oh!
27. Okay. Lisa. James Bond 26. Ooh. Jeanette.
damn. Okay, well I'm totally wrong. Friday the 13th. 13
13. It's Godzilla.
What?
That's not sequels though. That's remakes.
It's a franchise. It's a Godzilla franchise.
Okay,
Are there?
There's 40. There's 40 Godzilla movies.
because we watch Japanese cinema.
It's not just
What?
Japanese.
Like half of those have to be Japanese.
Oh, like 80% are Japanese, but like 2 of them are American. Godzilla. And they're all one franchise because Godzilla is very
Look at
heavily
Libby has
protected.
the face of how I was feeling.
Oh wow, look at the comments
Really?
are blowing up. Well, Libby, you won.
Oh my
Good.
god.
At least I won.
I mean, I don't think they all take place in the same universe, but they're all under the same franchise umbrella. And like, if you do anything Godzilla and you're not licensed by them, they sue you right away.
Oof.
Ask me how I know, because I almost did it. Then I looked into it, and one Google search is like, no, if you
Oh
like
my gosh.
produce anything that has his likeness or his name, these Japanese lawyers will get in touch and shut you down.
Oh
I
my
was like,
goodness.
well then, guess I'm not making my Godzilla bless us all t-shirts for Christmas time, because that's what I wanted to do.
Oh.
Godzilla bless us everyone. It was going to be adorable to coincide with my Christmas Carol movie, but it exists only in our hearts. What do we see here? I haven't even seen half of I haven't seen any Godzilla film, but Wikipedia told me biggest franchise, 40 movies. Godzilla.
Wild.
We could just do a Godzilla year. 40 weeks of Godzilla movies. Can you imagine? So many puppy dinosaurs. It'd be adorable and terrifying. So yeah, Godzilla. Huzzah. All right. So any closing thoughts on either Godzilla or this pirate movie?
I think we said everything that needed to be said.
Movie does not deserve this much commentary. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, I've enjoyed talking about this movie maybe the most out of all the Pirates movies because there was just so much to dissect. And by dissect, I mean poop on. So there it is.
It was better than Peter Pan 2003.
I love the animosity for Peter Pan 2003.
I love that that's also your benchmark in no matter
Yes.
what we're doing.
I should have been there for that live stream because I love that movie.
Oh, there were
So good.
there were so many mixed opinions.
was-
I'm just neutral on it, but like Lisa and Lauren hated it. I think they both independently said it was the worst movie they've ever seen. But then Kristen was on, and then she loved it. Oh, and Kaylee as well. Like we had 2 people who loved it almost
then
unconditionally. 2 people who hated it, and I was just like, I don't know, that's fine.
No. Was it your first time watching it
Yeah.
or that live stream? That's why you had to be a little girl and see Jeremy Sumpter and you would fall in love and think it's the greatest movie of all time.
And actually,
That's
yeah,
why.
that was almost
That
the
was
common factor between the 2 people that did really like it. So
Yeah.
yeah. But alas. Well, I feel like next week might give Peter Pan 2003 a run for its money for our new benchmark, but we'll see. We'll see how we like the sharks that are zombies or something.
We'll see.
Oh, wait, what was that, Libby? Did you say so bad?
It's so bad.
I thought you
Oh.
liked it.
Javier Bardem. He's hot.
No.
Javier, much like Javier's wife, Javier is another actor I just trust as a good actor based on the industry telling me he is versus what I've seen. And I'm really
Barcelona. That's all I have to say.
okay. So not being the Ricardos. That's it.
Absolutely.
Oh God, no! Please,
We've
no.
already
Let's
gone
not
over
get back.
this.
We've moved so far past that. Let's not go back there again.
Please, no.
Okay.
I don't wanna.
We're just I'm tempering our expectations before we watch Pirates 5.
Oh man.
Because we have to sink really low before we move into the last 3 marathons of the year, which should all have fantastic track records. I'm very excited for what's coming next, but I don't want to announce it yet. Everyone on screen knows. I hope everyone's excited because I am. So
Very.
it's gonna be such a good second half of the year. Woot! But until then, we're gonna do a sign off now. So you know the drill. I'll full screen you. Tell us who you are, what you want us to know about you, and yeah, anything exciting that you have coming up. Start with Lisa.
Thanks for having me on, Matt. I'm Lisa Alves, and you can follow me on Instagram at Lisa_A_Alves, and my hamsters, Eleanor Waffles and Theodora Umbrella. Other than that, you can also catch me at Cahoots Theater, where I produce a bunch of theater work during the year as a live theater producer. Yay!
Yay! Thank you, Lisa. Libby.
Yeah, I'm Libby from Punsy's Palace. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, Punsy's Palace. The Jungle Cruise video is coming, I promise you. I'm just busy, but there will be a Jungle Cruise video talking about the story, talking about the background of the ride. That will be coming shortly. So,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Libby.
having me.
Thank you.
Hello, hello. So you can find me at TinkerJ787 on Instagram. I have not started posting any photos of my most recent very quick trip to Disney, but I will be soon celebrating Disney Dado and I's 10-year anniversary. You can hear me talking about it in, about 13 minutes over on We Like Theme Parks. So I'll be talking about my trip there. We'll talk a little bit about Disney anniversary celebrations. And so you can come check me out on We Like Theme Parks every Tuesday evening. And then also sometimes on Around the Magic, and hopefully soon, Dole Whip Darlings.
Ooh. Thank you, Jeanette. Yes, everyone, go right after this. Go check out We Like Theme Parks because they are doing a live show. And I tried to do the nifty thing on YouTube where it redirected you from this live stream to theirs, but then I found out that they need to give me permission to do that. So, Jeanette, let's make that happen in case this ever happens again. Because but otherwise, friends watching, just go. Find the Disnerdy Network. Watch Jeanette and Gene talk because they are an absolute delight. It's my favorite podcast. Oh, and Gene's even here. Hi, Gene. Hey. And he knows Nick. There we go. A delight. Oh, thank you, Nick. Thanks for joining us. You have a great night as well. Thank you, everyone, for coming to talk mermaids with us and disappointing pirate films. Join us next week because I'm sure we'll have even more to roast out of Pirates 5 or maybe Wildcard. I might end up loving it. My expectations are so low. There's nowhere to go but up. But until then, friends, thank you for joining us. My name is Matt, and I have 2 degrees, and this has been the Tea Cup for One. How do I end this?